Our Albertsons shoppers donate to Goodwill because it's convenient and they always get a receipt.
I donate to Goodwill because Goodwill keeps things like computers out of our landfills.
I donate to Goodwill because Goodwill turns gently used goods into jobs for people in our community.
I donate to Goodwill because when I give, Southern Nevada benefits.
Donate.
Donate.
It's easy to donate.
Shop and donate today. Pahrumps Goodwill is located in the former Ace Hardware building.
News 46 is brought to you by Comfort Hospice Care, where we give our patients and their loved ones peace of mind, knowing we provide the highest quality of care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information, call 751-0349. News 46 is also brought to you by Integrity Home Healthcare, caring for the Pahrump community for over 3 years. Call 775-751-5100 for your home health care needs. We are here to care for you. News is also brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to Pahrump area seniors. Give us a call at 751-2300 and make an appointment to tour our community.
Tonight on News 46, a familiar face returns to Pahrump to campaign for sheriff. The Nye County Commissioners declare Raven a nuisance. And a look inside the historic Amargosa Opera House. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Monique Mitchell. Local coverage from Deanna O'Donnell. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Tuesday, February 11, 2014. I'm Monique Mitchell for News 46. Well, former Nye County Sheriff's Office Captain Bill Becht is apparently running for sheriff. The former lawman retired late last year and reportedly moved to Arizona with his wife. He now has a Facebook page asking residents to support him for his campaign for top cop. Well, the Southeast is prepared to be swaddled in a paralyzing blanket of ice and snow that could leave huge chunks of the region in the dark for days. Just 2 weeks after another storm that hobbled Atlanta, part of northern Georgia saw snow this morning, and the chilly rain that was falling further south was expected to become ice overnight. The head of emergency operations for Georgia Power said the company expects that ice between half an inch to an inch in some parts of the state to snap tree limbs and knock down power lines that serve hundreds of thousands of customers. Well, quote, the Raven, nevermore. The Nye County Commissioners have made a resolution to declare the Raven a nuisance. The bird is the main predator of the endangered sage grouse.
Yeah, well, we had a resolution the other day, and I had put it forward. I'd been contacted from Elko, and they did the same thing in their county. And to me, it might only be a policy statement or resolution because it's non-binding, but this Endangered Species Act and listing the sage grouse and everything else, the ravens are the main predator on the sage grouse. The sage grouse used to fill the skies, just blacken the skies in central and northern Nevada years ago, and they've slowly gone away. Well, part of that reason is that the ravens have increased by over 600% in the last 30 years. And I will be talking to Senator Reed's staff as well as Senator Heller about this and trying to list the sage grouse. It's going to take many, many jobs away from ranchers, miners, and people in central and northern Nye County. And I about had it with it. It's just too much. Every time they list another species, it costs millions and millions and millions of dollars to the average taxpayers, to the average citizen. And it's time this stuff stops. So we got to put the brakes on here, not have that bird listed, and not cause that much pain and grief. And we didn't want the wilderness area that was going to go with it as well.
So if you list the sage grouse as an endangered species, it's going to affect jobs, you would prefer that it wasn't on the endangered species list and that we in turn take care of the raven, which is its main predator.
Yes, that'd be my concern. We're not going to list that as endangered species, but the federal government wants to. The state has said to the federal government, you guys do such a horrible job, why don't you just let us take care of it and we'll handle the problem, and we know what it is. There's a ranch up north that has man-made habitat on it, and the environmentalists just can't stand the sound of that word. But the sage grouse are flourishing there, and the environmental people just seem to have everything backwards, and I don't know why they continually do this, but to protect a tortoise or a raven or whatever, it's just getting totally ridiculous.
How does it affect jobs to list species on the endangered list?
Well, the jobs in just central and northern Nye County alone, it would probably, there's predictions of maybe a $10 to a $15 million hit on mining, ranching, and farming.
So where's it going to go from here, and what's going to happen at this point?
Well, I'm going to continue to work with the public lands people as well as Commissioner Wickman, and we will just keep hammering away at them.
All right, folks, we'll keep it here because we're going to have more local news for you after this break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Albertsons. You're in for something fresh.
Welcome back to News 46. Well, Carrie Sherrill files this report regarding Valley Electric Association CEO Tom Husted, who was the guest speaker at the Pahrump Valley Historical Museum.
Valley Electric Association CEO Tom Husted was the guest speaker at the Pahrump Valley Historical Museum this past Saturday. Mr. Husted spoke to the audience about the history of public power and the Valley Electric Association. Tom Husted has served as Chief Executive Officer of VEA since November of 2006. He has led the rural utility business through remarkable growth and progress and has more than 30 years of experience in the utility industry across the western United States, including more than 20 years as a CEO. Husted has initiated change and fostered development in the areas of management, power systems development, operations, marketing, and communications. In 2005, he led a utility to develop a community communications system by opening up the utility's network and creating the largest Wi-Fi hotspot in the United States, covering more than 1,500 square miles.
The Hoover Dam, when we received that allocation of Hoover Dam, all the Nevada cooperatives did, was instrumental in the success of bringing Valley Electric to bear. This is one of the earlier shots of Hoover Dam.
This is Carrie Sherrill for News 46.
Well, Southern Nevada health officials say 14 people at a Las Vegas area high school have tested positive for tuberculosis. Although all of them have the non-contagious form, the Southern Nevada Health District had conducted the testing after a November exposure at Coronado High School in Henderson. The district reported Monday that more than a dozen people tested positive for the latent form of respiratory illness. That means they aren't showing symptoms and aren't contagious, but the disease could become active later. Health district officials say they will offer treatment to those who tested positive in an effort to avoid a flare-up. The exposure came after another high-profile tuberculosis outbreak in Las Vegas claimed the lives of a young mother and at least one of her premature twins over the summer. Well, today's JAMA report tells us about drug-releasing stents, which now are reducing the risks of heart attack.
These tiny pieces of metal are called stents. They look relatively the same, but are not. The one on the left is a bare metal stent. The stent on the right releases medication after it is placed into a blocked coronary artery.
There has been controversy as to the use of drug-eluting stents, specifically in patients presenting with acute heart attacks.
More than 10 years ago, the first drug-eluting stents released medication that would help keep the artery open through a durable polymer. However, the polymer stayed in the artery at the top of the stent.
There were concerns that actually these drug-eluting stents may lead to adverse events such as occlusion of the artery with blood clots.
Dr. Stefan Windecker from Bern University Hospital in Switzerland and co-authors conducted a randomized controlled trial involving more than 1,100 patients undergoing emergency cardiac catheterization. These patients were treated at 11 clinical sites in Europe and Israel. Approximately half the patients received a bare metal stent, and half the patients received a new generation drug-eluting stent, releasing the drug biolumis with a biodegradable polymer.
That is a polymer which degrades into water and carbon dioxide during a period of 6 to 9 months after the drug has been released, and renders the stent surface more closely to actually a bare metal stent.
Clinical follow-up was performed at 1 and 12 months.
Their drug-eluting stent was more effective in preventing new blockages within the treated segment. The occurrence of new heart attacks within that treated segment was slower with the biodegradable polymer as compared to the bare metal stent. And it reduces the incidence of serious cardiovascular events by more than 50%.
Researchers say if 1,000 patients are treated with the biodegradable stent, 42 future cardiac events may be prevented compared to its bare metal counterpart. Catherine Dolph, The JAMA Report.
All right, folks, we'll keep it here because we're going to have more local news for you after these messages.